Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Danvers Zoning Board of Appeals tonight. I hope everybody's doing well and is safe out there. We are running remote meetings, continued so far throughout the year. And one thing I'm going to do is go around with a roll call and introduce the zoning board members and ask them to unmute their mics and check in. I'll start with Becky Kilborn.
Here. Good evening.
Thank you, Becky. Our clerk, Ken Scholes.
Here.
Jeff Sauer.
Here.
Ken Jarvinen.
Here.
And our alternate, Corinne Doherty.
Here.
And from our planning department is David Fields.
Present.
Thank you, David. I'm going to now call on, if you're here on a case, and if you could just unmute your mic and let us know someone is present. Tammy Darling, 1 Fletcher Street.
Here.
Thank you, Tammy. Clifford Gas, 31 North Shetland Road.
Here.
Thank you, Clifford. And our 1 regular case, Stephen Frygast and Sean Smith.
Here.
Did I get that name correct?
Close enough. Kriegas.
Close enough. Okay, thank you everyone for checking in. So the way our process works is with our continued cases first, and then our 1 regular case. I will ask you to present any new material in the instance of the continued cases, and in the new case, just present your case on what you'd like to do. From there, I will hand it over to the zoning board members where they will ask questions of you. If there's any public comment after that, we will take that and listen to it and respond to those questions. After public comment, we will come back to the zoning board and we will go into deliberation. At that point, we ask to not be interrupted. You will hear our deliberations and from there, get an idea on if you have the votes or not to have your case pass through. And with that said, I will ask the zoning board members, we were all in receipt of minutes for our last meeting of March 29th. If there's not any further discussion, could I get a motion to accept those minutes?
So moved.
I have a motion from Ken Scholes and a second from Jeff Sauer. I'm going to go with a roll call vote. Becky Kilborn.
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Jeff Sauer.
Yes.
Ken Jarvinen.
Yes.
Corinne Doherty.
Yes.
And John Bowner is also a yes. So obviously I've told you kind of how our process works. We are in a remote situation in place of in-person meetings. I've identified all the members of the zoning board and alternate. And from there, Mr. Scholes, if you could read our statement from the Governor Baker's office for the executive order.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening. This open meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with the agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded, so that public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting, the Zoning Board of Appeals is convening remotely via the WebEx app, as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything you broadcast may be captured by the recordings.
Thank you, Mr. Scholes. And I believe that is all of the preliminary info, and I think we can dive right into our first continued case.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our first case is Tammy Darling, docket 21-4912, requesting a dimensional variance from front setback from 20 feet to 8 feet for an above-ground pool in accordance with Section 7, Table 2 of the Danvers Zoning Bylaws at 1 Fletcher Street. This is zoned R1.
Okay, and Ms. Darling, Tammy, you did chime in. If you can unmute your microphone. Just before you get started, I read through the minutes from the first meeting, as I know you didn't attend. I just want to be clear that there's 3 situations going on here. We have a pool that was installed without a permit. We have a deck that was installed without a permit. And we also have a shed that was also installed without a permit. I know the board has been in receipt of some updated drawings. And from there, if you could take us forward.
Okay. So in the last meeting, I did not attend it, but I did watch it. So I heard what everything was said. And you suggested that we actually move the pool off of the easement, which I actually called the engineer, the town engineer, and he told me I couldn't have any because when the building inspector was here, he said, call the town engineer, see if the sewer easement is actually a working sewer easement or not, to figure out who it belongs to and all of that information. So I did all of that, and the engineer said it is a working sewer easement, so we cannot keep the pool on it. So then our next choice was to move the pool back where it was before, up forward. And we actually, I don't even think that we need a variance on this because I think we just need a permit to put the pool in this section because we're actually 20 feet in from the street and 8 feet off of the fence. And I think that is the rule, correct?
So you are in R1 and the side setback is 8 feet, but your address is Fletcher Street, so that you would be required to meet a front setback. If I have that correct, and the front setback in R1
Would be Holton, correct?
No, that would be Fletcher.
would be Fletcher.
Fletcher.
Okay,
Your address is Fletcher, so that is your front setback.
okay.
And somebody, I just don't have my book in front of me.
20
Front
feet.
setback.
It's 20 feet. Yeah.
So hold on. So you would need a variance to be at 8 feet.
No, she's saying she's going to be over 20 feet, so she probably doesn't even need a variance. When you look at the plan, it appears, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I looked at the plan myself, and her new drawing appears that she's more than 20 feet. It's just
I think that's a side setback though, Becky. I'm looking at a front setback.
No, she has 2 front setbacks. She has a front setback on Holton and a front setback on Fletcher. Those are both front setbacks. So
Right, so she will not meet it on Fletcher.
on Fletcher, she's going to be 22 feet from the street, she's saying.
Right.
And she has a 20-foot setback.
Okay, this is a little confusing because what I'm looking at says 8 feet.
That's from the fence,
Okay, and so the fence is not the street
correct.
line. Okay, so you are 22 and 20.
Well, it's hard because it's not a legal plan. It's hand-drawn, so
Okay.
it's part of my question, so.
Yeah, okay, well, hold on. All right, so continue, Ms. Starling.
Okay,
So you plan to go 22 and 20 with the pool.
right. We are gonna leave the deck off, obviously, because then it would be in the middle of the yard. So we are just gonna take the deck down. And we will need to get a permit to pull because the shed that's in the front, we'll need to have it put in the back, so.
And that's a plastic shed that's easily moved. I
Yeah.
mean, there's no foundation on that. So we'll move that. We'll pull a permit to put that within, off the setbacks. I mean,
So the shed you're planning to meet setbacks
yes.
and,
Yeah.
and not need a variance.
Correct.
So let me just recap here. So it looks like you're gonna move the pool and not require a variance because it'll meet setbacks. You're gonna move the shed. It'll not require a variance because it'll meet setbacks, and we just need to get 2 permits pulled
Right,
from town hall.
correct.
Okay, let me go out to Mr. Fields and make sure that all makes sense to him before I send it along to our zoning board members.
Okay,
Sure, thanks, Mr. Chair. So that makes sense. Now that it was explained, I think we were also having a bit of difficulty understanding the plan, but it sounds like if it's 20 feet and 22 feet for the pool, then it should be okay to go. And I think we're all set.
Okay, and Ms. Salling, I don't want to cut you off. Do you have any other things you would like to present to us before I turn it over for questions?
I don't. Do you guys have anything else?
No.
No, I think we're good.
Okay, and, yeah, I'll wait. I'll hold my questions. I'll let the board ask. We'll start with you, Becky.
Thank you. And thank you for the new plan. Thank you very much for submitting something. The only question I have, it's hand-drawn and the lot line is not necessarily the street. So I was just wondering is there possible for you to have a verification by Hancock who provided the survey? I know you would have to pay for it, but it would, be accurate.
Honestly, this is like,
Yeah.
we've already put so much money into doing all this already, so I
Yeah.
feel like at this
And
point,
Hancock, I think they charge us 1,600. I
Right.
don't know what they charge to just verify.
Okay, can I ask who's speaking?
Oh, I'm sorry.
he said he wants to know who's speaking.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Bill Rowe.
Thank you. I just need it for the minutes, Bill.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. So David, if I could ask you, Mr. Chair,
Yep, go ahead.
David, is there some way that we can verify where the lot line is so that we know that we're 20 feet back from the lot line? Because it's not really the street.
That's correct. So what's shown on the plan, the street is not the right-of-way layout. So I think without that verification, it is difficult to ascertain where the pool is going to go and then ultimately where it ends up, if it should go forward and get built.
Okay. I mean, okay, so if it's 20 feet from the lot line, not 20 feet from the street, but 20 feet from the lot line, then no variance is required and they would only need a permit for the pool.
That's correct.
And is there, again, through you, David, is there any requirement that it be so many feet from the sewer easement line? They're saying they want it 2 feet.
There's no official setback from the sewer easement. If the engineering division is requesting 2 feet, it would be prudent to go by that if they can.
So Tammy, can I ask you, did they tell you how many feet you needed to be off of the sewer easement?
He did not. He just said he doesn't recommend building any structures on it. That's all he said. He didn't say anything about 2 feet. That was just where we ended up. We didn't want it to be too close or too far
Right.
back. It was just where we thought that we would be safe enough to move the pool to.
Okay. And then to be clear, you're just totally gonna demolish the deck or take the deck apart? What, are you just gonna have stairs going up into the
Yes,
pool?
yes.
Okay. All right. And then the shed is small shed, so it needs a permit, but it only needs to be 5 feet off the lot line if it's a small shed.
Okay,
And those are the only questions I have. So I guess for comments, I would say that we just need a verification it's 20 feet so that they don't need the variance.
Okay, thank you, Becky. Ken Scholes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So basically, they're not asking for the variance, correct?
I think by moving the pool, yes,
They don't need the variance. They don't need the variance. Seems to me they don't need this application. They just need to pull permits to move the pool and the shed.
I tend to agree. I think it's gonna have to be up to the inspections department to verify that they're meeting setbacks.
I guess I don't have any questions because they don't need the variance. So that's it for me. Thanks.
Thank you, Ken. Jeff Sauer.
Yeah, I think that on the presumption that the pool's going to meet setbacks, the applicant, I guess, should withdraw the application, and then we don't even have to worry about voting on it. And it'll be the inspections department's job to get out their 20-foot tape measure. So I have no questions.
Very good. Ken Jevenen.
I have no question. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. And Corinne.
I agree. I think they should withdraw the application and just be mindful when their contractor pulls the permit and starts working, that he or she ensures that it's, it meets the requirements, or you'll be back here again.
Thank you, Corinne. And David, I'll go out to you one more time. So I think myself and the board are in agreement here. It doesn't sound like this. I think this started with a letter from the former building inspector for being in violation. The applicant realized they needed a variance, found out they couldn't have it because it was placed on an easement. Now that they're going to meet setbacks, I see no need for a variance of any kind here. Are we accurate in this thinking?
That's correct. No action would need to be taken by the ZBA should the permit process go forward and they're within the required setbacks.
Very good. Knowing that, I will not bother to go ahead, Becky.
I'm just concerned that we do have a cease and desist order out by the building inspector, and that pool still exists in that location.
Well, can we quantify it with a timeline, David? Is that something we can do?
You could certainly do that. Given where we're at with the Inspectional Services Division currently, I can put it on my radar to check in with them when the new inspector is hired for certain.
Tammy, can I ask, what's your plan? What's the timeline for moving the pool?
We were just waiting to have this meeting so that we can set all that up, and hopefully within the next 30 days, that's the plan, to get it ready before the summer.
So you'll be going to pull a permit, and the hope is to move the pool within a month.
Correct. I'll give it 2 months just to be safe, but
Yeah, we're
Sure.
everything going away for
Yeah,
a week, so.
Okay, well, based on that, I see no need to go out to the public on this application, and my recommendation would be that we look for a withdrawal here. A motion to withdraw this application. That sound right?
Yes,
yes.
How
Okay.
are they gonna verify the 20 feet? That's what I want to know.
Well, I think Becky, that's up to the inspections department to perform that. David said they're going to put it on their radar, and when the application is pulled, I think that I believe everybody's in the know on where this pool needs to be off the easement. Yeah, go ahead, David.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So for Ms. Kilborn, all this information, the previous violation and everything will get tagged to the docket and the file for this project. So when a building permit is pulled for the new structure, all this information will come up, and I will be sure to work with the building inspector on that.
Is that good for you, Becky? Okay, so if I could get a motion to withdraw without prejudice here.
So moved.
I got a motion by Ken Scholes, and I got a second by Jeff Sauer. I'll go with a roll call vote. Becky?
Yes,
Ken Scholes?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Ken J?
Yes.
Corinne Doherty?
Yes.
And John Bowner is also a yes. And thanks for straightening this all out with us. And I hope it all works out for you guys. Good job cleaning this all up.
Thank you very much.
Sure, good luck.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, we can move on to our next continued case.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our next case is Clifford Gas, docket 21-4926, requesting dimensional variance from side and rear setbacks to erect a two-car garage and a finding to raise a roof on an old garage space to match existing main roof height in accordance with Section 7, Table 2, and Section 3.11.1 A and B of the Danvers Zoning Bylaws at 31 North Shetland Road. This is zoned R2.
Good evening, Mr. Gass. I know we were in receipt of a new drawing.
Yes.
And why don't you bring us up to speed?
Okay, so I met with the town in regards to the curb cut. I think he sent an email to Georgia and passed that on and said that that wouldn't be a problem. And I went back to the engineer, the architect, and did what you guys requested in making the garage smaller. So we made it 8 feet smaller. And the reason that I'm requesting a 10-foot instead of the 15-foot is if you look at my property, it's shaped more like a trapezoid, whereas all of the other neighboring properties are pretty much all rectangular. So by just moving an extra couple feet, it kills kind of about 600 square feet behind the garage, which would be really wasted space. There's nothing going to be back there. So that's why instead of the 15 feet, I think last time we had discussed that from the side, the 7.5-foot side setback was fine. It's just the rear setback. You wanted me to change that number. So I'm requesting a 10-foot on the setback.
In the rear.
In the rear, correct.
So you're saying the 7.6 to the side setback.
Correct.
And that includes overhangs.
That's correct.
Okay. And I see we have an updated drawing. Anything else you would like to present to us?
No, that's really the only thing that changed.
And you got the information from the town on the curb cut.
Yes, they said that would be fine.
Okay, very good. I'll start with you, Corinne.
I reviewed your new drawing. I think it's a better scale for your property. It looks as if, when you cut down on the square footage of the garage, you also changed so that you have 2 single garage doors and or 2 bays instead of having one in either an oversized or a double. I think it fits better. It also looks as if you turned the front a bit, and I think that will make it easier to drive out of your garage. So I like these new plans. I don't really have any other questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Corinne. Ken Jarvinen.
I agree with Corinne. So pulling into the garage looks, I'm trying to look at the plan right now. I reviewed it earlier, but I was just getting another peek. It looks like more of a straight shot into the garage now, so you won't have a mishap into the house pulling the car in. So yeah, so I mean, I have no questions, I guess.
No questions. Okay, I'll move over to Jeff Sauer.
No questions, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Ken Schulz, questions?
No questions. Thanks for the new plan. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ken. And Becky.
No questions. Thanks for the plan. Thank you.
And Mr. Gass, the only question I have is, could you tell me the height of this garage and compare that to your house?
The house, it's about the same size as the main house. That's why the existing garage is the finding where I want to raise that. So it's the same size as the rest of the house. I believe it's 15 feet.
To the midline?
I wouldn't know. I think so.
This is the garage we're talking about though, right? The separate structure?
Yes,
Not your existing
Right,
And
the new one.
Mr. Chairman, his front elevation plan shows 14 feet 7 inches to the peak
of the home,
of the garage.
of the garage. Okay, I'm not seeing that, but I believe you. Oh, sorry, here it is, okay. So really, all you've done is, you downsized the size of the building and you went to 2 single bay doors.
Correct.
Thank you, I have no other questions. Anyone else from the board before I go out to the public? Hearing none, is there anyone here from the public that would like to speak on 31 North Shetland Road? I see none, so I will come back to the board for deliberations, and we'll start with you, Corinne.
I will vote for this.
Thank you, Corinne. Ken Jarvinen.
I will vote for this also.
Thank you, Ken. Jeff Sauer.
I will vote for this. I like the new plan. Thank you very much.
Ken Scholes.
I'm good with it. I'll vote for this.
And Becky.
I'll vote for this.
Yeah, I too, Mr. Gass. I appreciate your working with us. I think it fits better in your neighborhood, and I think it's better for your property as well. So with that said, I would vote for it. And could I get a motion from someone on the board?
I can do that. All right, we're going to do the variance first. I move to grant the dimensional variance from section 7, table 2. I have the right property, right? Table 2 of the Danvers zoning bylaw to allow a 2-car garage with 7.57, it's going to be 7.6 feet of side setback where 15 feet is required, and 10 feet of rear setback where 15 feet is required, as shown on the plan submitted. The hardship is the size and shape of the lot and the location of existing structures. This condition does not affect other properties or structures in the same zoning district. A literal enforcement of the zoning bylaw would involve substantial hardship to the applicant, and granting this variance will not create a substantial detriment to the public good and will not nullify or derogate from the intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw.
Okay, I've got a motion and I've got a second by Jeff Sauer. I will go with a roll call vote. Becky?
Yes.
Ken Scholes?
Yes.
Jeff Sauer?
Yes.
Ken J?
Yes.
Corinne Doherty?
Yes.
And John Bowner is also a yes. And now I need a motion for a finding.
I move to grant the finding in accordance with section 3.11.1 of the Danvers zoning bylaw to allow roof line changes to an existing non-conforming single-family dwelling as shown on the plan submitted. The municipal water and sewer shall not be overloaded by the roof line changes. The public streets shall not become overloaded by the roof line changes. The value of other buildings and properties shall not be depreciated by the roof line changes. The specific site is an appropriate location for the roof line changes. The roof line changes will not adversely affect the neighborhood. There will not be undue nuisance to vehicles or pedestrians, and adequate and proper facilities will be provided to ensure the proper operation of the proposed roof line changes. The proposed roof line changes will be in harmony with the general purpose of the bylaw.
Thank you, Becky. I've got a second by Jeff Sauer again. Folks, before we take a roll call vote on this, David, I just want to go out to you. You didn't reference the new drawing in this. I don't have a date, an updated drawing. Do you guys have a dated copy of this updated drawing?
It's April 2nd.
It's okay.
Ms. Kilbourne's correct.
Okay, so that's been submitted.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, I have a motion from Becky Kilbourne for a finding. I got a second from Jeff Sauer. I will take a roll call vote. Becky?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Ken J?
Yes.
Corinne?
Yes.
And John Bowner is also a yes. Mr. Gass, good luck with your project, and see the planning department. They'll get you squared away.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Moving right along, we will go to our first new case of the evening, Mr. Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our final case of the evening is Stephen Krigest. Am I saying that correct? Krigest?
Yeah, it's Kriegus, but that's fine.
Krigest, sorry about that. And Sean Smith, docket 21-4927, requesting a special permit for an extended family living area in accordance with section 9.3.3 of the Danvers zoning bylaws at 41 Forest Street. This is zoned R2.
Good evening.
Hello.
Good morning. Good morning. Good evening.
Tell us what you'd like to do. We all have a copy of your application and your drawing, so just walk us through it and we'll ask some questions.
Perfect. It's a pleasure to meet all of you. My name is Sean Smith. This is my father-in-law, Stephen Krigest. My wife, Kaylee Krigest, and I just purchased 41 Forest Street in Danvers on March 26th, and we bought our house from our in-laws, Steve and Claudia Krigest, who have been residents of Danvers for over 30 years. My wife is the 5th generation of her family to own this house, and I'm excited to set down roots in Danvers, begin a family in this town. Our house was built in 1790, and my wife's family lore states that this was a cookhouse for the Putnams. But we are petitioning the ZBA today for a special permit for an extended family living area as per Danvers Zoning Bylaw 9.3.3. It specifies that we go to the ZBA and you may issue a special permit for an addition, attachment, or expansion for the purposes of an EFLA, inclusive of non-conforming structures and non-conforming lots. The reason why we're here today is our lot is considered undersized, and the lot is non-conforming in terms of frontage and setback from the street. In our proposal, we seek mainly to reconfigure already existing space in the house, with one exception. We plan to convert an already existing screened-in porch attached to the back of our house with dimensions 18 feet by 12 feet into livable space as a living room in the proposed EFLA. All required guidelines, as outlined in the bylaws, would be followed in this project. There'd be no change visible from the front of the house at all. The only change that would happen as a result of this project would be the portion of the screened-in porch in the back of the building will be converted into livable space, and this would remain within the required setbacks from our neighbors. The EFLA will be home to my in-laws, so my wife's parents, Steve and Claudia Krigest, as they continue to make Danvers their home for hopefully many more years to come as they get older. They already live with us, and we share our space, but our goal is to provide some much needed privacy for the two families here. As my in-laws get older too, it's important to make sure we plan this project to allow for them to be able to get around and live comfortably as they get older as well. As a result of this request, there's no additional people living in our house if we are granted this special permit. So in terms of what this project's going to look like, the definitions set in the housing bylaws, we'll have a shared front door. There'd be no change to the front whatsoever. We'd have a lot of shared space within the house. No noticeable change to the front of our house because it's important to maintain that one family residential feel in the neighborhood. As I mentioned earlier, there will only be 2 occupants of the EFLA. We will not have separate utilities. And to really reiterate, the only change to the look of the structure would be in the back of the building, where a screened-in porch on the back of the property would be converted to livable space. And we believe that there's also ample evidence that would meet the requirements of 30.3 of the zoning bylaws. The sewer and water, there's the same amount of people that will be living here. There's going to be really no change in bathrooms, just an additional sink. So the systems wouldn't be overtaxed. Public streets wouldn't become overloaded. Our neighbors seem to be broadly supportive of the project. And having our in-laws stay in this neighborhood is gonna really help hopefully continue the family feel of this neighborhood for years to come. we believe there would be no undue nuisance or hazard as a result of this project. So that's what I had prepared for you to start, but we're ready to answer any questions you might have.
Very good, Sean. Thank you for your presentation. And I will open it up to questions, and I'll start down there with you, Becky.
Thank you. Thank you for all the information. How big will the EFLA be? Typically, I'm just going to tell you, typically when we get a plan for a property with an EFLA, we have the EFLA area identified, and this plan, I don't see that. So do you know the square footage?
Right around 750 square feet, like on the bottom.
Can you, on the plan, we have the plan in front of us. Can you show us the rooms that will be the EFLA?
So I'm looking at this. I'm sorry. Let me outline it for you guys.
Okay, and the front of the house is the straight part, right?
The front of the house is the top of that document there.
That's what I thought, because I went there and it's very straight across the front.
If it's helpful, I can share my screen with the plan.
Yeah, that might be good, David. Yeah.
You
Sure.
can help us.
I'll try to do that. Hold on.
Okay. Great.
Can everyone see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just straight on the right.
So Sean, maybe if you could just talk us through what rooms would be what.
Absolutely. So where you have the cursor now,
Yes.
so that room is that is the extension that we're proposing to build. I'm sorry it was not clearer before. That is the current screened-in porch.
Okay.
That's gonna become the living room. If you go up a room, that room is the bedroom, and that's the current bedroom. Right to the right of that is the bathroom, and that's currently there as it is now. And if you go down, this little area here will be the kitchen, this little nook right here. And that's it.
And where will your kitchen and bathroom be?
Our kitchen and bathroom is if you go to the right on the screen. This is our main living area. So we're right where the cursor is now. That's the kitchen right there. That's our currently existing kitchen right there. If you go to the left and up a little bit, that's the first floor bathroom. We also have a bathroom on the second floor. Our living area is towards the bottom of the screen. Yep, right there.
That's the
Okay.
living room right now.
No, that's the living room. There's other rooms that are going to be shared space, like a laundry room and stuff like that, that are on that first floor as well.
Okay. So you measured out the living room, bedroom, bathroom, and kitchen for the EFLA, and it's about 750 square feet, because that's allowed. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Becky.
you.
Let's go to our clerk, Mr. Ken Scholes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My only question was the square footage, and obviously they answered that question, so I have no other questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Jeff Sauer.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I'm looking at the Forest Street plot plan here. And
Yes.
I just want to, so your existing house doesn't meet the front setback, and it doesn't meet the left side setback. But you're not changing anything there.
That's correct.
Correct.
And on the right side, where you are extending the building back a little bit, where the screen porch is becoming that room you showed us,
Yes, correct.
that side of the building looks like you do meet the setback, the 15-foot setback. So
Yes.
The new construction is conforming, but you're here because the rest of your building isn't, but you're not changing that part.
Correct.
And the lot's too small.
Correct.
Okay, I have no further questions. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Jeff. Ken J.
I have no questions, Mr. Chair. Thank you. All my questions were answered.
Thank you, Ken. And Corinne.
I just want to confirm that the EFLA is all on that first floor. So there's no rooms upstairs that are part of the EFLA.
Correct. It's only on the first floor.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and I believe all my questions were answered as well. It looks pretty straightforward. You're turning a screened-in porch into a living area. And it looks like you've identified the porch as part of the 750 square feet, along with a small kitchen area and a living, I guess a living room. Is that what that front corner is, or the
Living bedroom. Yeah, it's probably. I don't think they've decided if what they want their bedroom to be yet, but yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think that looks pretty straightforward to me. I don't have any additional questions. Is everybody good on the board?
Mhm.
Okay, I'll go out to the public. If there's anybody here that would like to speak on 41 Forest Street, an application for an EFLA. And I am not seeing or hearing anyone, so I will.
Where's
back to
Mr. Duggan tonight?
He's out campaigning.
Yeah, working the trail. All right, I will come back to the board for deliberations, and I'll start with you, Becky.
I'll vote for this.
Thank you, Becky. Ken,
I'll vote for this.
Jeff Sauer,
I will vote for this.
Ken J,
I will vote for this too.
and Corinne.
I will vote for this.
And I too will vote for this. This seems like a real modest change to this building, and I'm glad to see you can work it out where you can all stay there. So, could I get a motion?
Ken, do you want to read it? He doesn't.
Yes, he does.
Cheat sheet on this, do you?
All right, I've got it. Okay.
All right. thanks.
I move to grant the special permit in accordance, you can hear me, right? In accordance with section 9.3.2 of the Danvers Zoning Bylaw to allow an extended family living area on an undersized, non-conforming lot as shown on the plan submitted. The municipal water and sewer shall not be overloaded by the EFLA. The public streets shall not be overloaded by the EFLA. The value of other buildings and properties shall not be depreciated by the EFLA. The specific site is an appropriate location for the EFLA. The EFLA will not adversely affect the neighborhood. There will not be undue nuisance to vehicles and pedestrians, and adequate and proper facilities will be provided to ensure the proper operation of the proposed EFLA. The proposed EFLA will be in harmony with the general purpose of the bylaw.
I've got a motion. that was a tie. I'm going to go with Ken Scholes on that one. I've got a motion and a second by Ken Scholes. I'll go with a roll call vote, and we'll start with you, Becky.
Yes.
Ken,
Aye.
Jeff Sauer,
Yes.
Ken J,
Yes.
Corinne Doherty,
Yes.
and I, John Bowner, am also in favor. The motion passes, and Mr. Smith, we'd like to wish you good luck and see the planning department, and they will get you set up with the proper applications. Yes, David, you had something?
No, sorry, I was just waving to let him know that. Come
Oh.
see me.
Yes, see Mr. Fields downtown, and I believe that's all we have for this evening. So your motion passes. Could I get a motion to adjourn? As far as I know, board members, we just have one case on for the 26th. It's the Endicott Street case. We haven't had any updates yet, but I believe we will be notified via email if anything comes in.
Motion to adjourn.
I've got a motion to adjourn, and I've got a second by Jeff Sauer. Roll call vote. Becky?
Yes.
Ken?
Good night.
Jeff?
Yes.
Ken J?
Yes.
Corinne?
Yes.
And John Bowner signing off. Good night, Danvers, and we'll see you all.
Good night, Danvers.
Bye-bye.
See you in 2.